Lima, Peru. Peru's right-wing presidential candidate Keiko Fujimori has a slight lead over her opponent with most of the votes counted from Sunday's presidential election. With 90% of the ballots counted, Ms. Fujimori has 50.27% support versus 49.73% for leftist presidential candidate Pedro Castillo, a difference of about 88,000 votes, according to the election agency. Mr. Castillo has been winning big in rural areas, where authorities are still counting ballots, making the election still too close to call. An Ipsos sample of ballots from the vote, known as a quick count, had shown Mr. Castillo with 50.2% support versus 49.8% for Ms. Fujimori, amid growing concerns about social unrest following the deeply polarized campaign between candidates on the far ends of Peru's political spectrum. The quick count, released late Sunday, has a margin of error of 1 percentage point, according to political scientists. Mr. Castillo had earlier on Sunday called on supporters to take to the streets to be vigilant in the defense of democracy. Ms. Fujimori called for both camps to wait for the official results. Peru has logged the world's highest per capita death rate from COVID-19, a toll that has claimed more than 180,000 lives. Photo, Sebastian Castaneda, Reuters. "I'm very concerned about upheaval," said Julio Carrion, a Peruvian political scientist at the University of Delaware. Mr. Castillo, a teachers' union activist and leader of a Marxist-inspired party, had been leading polls for nearly the entire race. But Ms. Fujimori narrowed his double-digit lead, and some polls on Saturday gave her a slight lead. Ms. Fujimori is an ex-congresswoman and head of a right-wing party based on the ideals of her father, former autocratic PresidentAlberto Fujimori. Mr. Castillo and Ms. Fujimori said Sunday that they would respect the outcome of the vote. The campaign has pitted Peru's wealthier coast against the poor, indigenous Andes in the midst of a pandemic that has logged more than 180,000 deaths, the world's highest per capita death rate. Indignant about the government's handling of the pandemic, an economy that contracted by 11% and growing hunger, Peruvians ignored centrist candidates in April's first round of voting and are now left with two presidential hopefuls on the far right and far left of the country's politics. César Hildebrandt, a political analyst and columnist in Lima, worries about the survival of Peru's democracy no matter who wins. "We're facing a terrible dilemma," he said. "The choice is an abyss or a precipice. Which one do you want?" It is a campaign that many people here say has echoes from the tumultuous Peru of the 1980s and early 1990s, when the country was roiled by another major economic crisis and a conflict with the Maoist Shining Path guerrillas that killed tens of thousands of people. Back then, anger at the political class led to the rise of a populist outsider, Mr. Fujimori.